In the middle of a debate on the legacy of Cecil John Rhodes, hosted by the Center for Conflict Resolution, a group of students walked in. Wandile Kasibe was part of the disruption, and he is my guest today. I'm Linda Fekisi, and this is the journalist show, Meqoqo. Hello, Wandile.
Hello, sis.
So, in the middle of the lecture, you guys walk in, and there you are holding the banner, Rhodes Must Fall. What was going on through your mind?
So when we walked into that space, we were sending out a message that the time has come for us to begin to critique, symbols or colonial references that still, that still, represent problematic, histories in our country, and histories that remind people of the kind of darkness from which we come as a nation. And that banner, when we held it there, we're saying to people who are actually in that room and people who probably will see that through, social media, the time has come for us to begin to engage on issues of decolonization and decoloniality for that matter.
Was the walk-in spontaneous or was it well planned? Please just take us through the behind the scenes of the rooms where student activists plot and plan.
We are an organized, movement. That must be clear. We have actually come to understand how big this thing is, and you cannot lead something that is as big as this without having the ability to strategize, to plan, and to think. We actually did plan that we would go there, would hold that banner. So it was a planned, intervention. Our main goal is to ensure that institutional racism is actually erased, is actually being dealt with at our institutions. We should actually deal with these issues head on and make sure that nobody feels that they are actually discriminated against because of their skin color. We cannot, not in the 21st century, because we have to come to a conclusion that we have the capability to deal with issues of race. And for us to do that, of course, you start with the discourse. You open a space for discourse. You allow citizens to talk about these things.
Someone who is clearly not happy and excited was an audience member. Towards the end of the discussion, he raised the point that the main reason for students participating in this a protest is because you are not doing well in your grades. And because it was at the end and no one could say anything to that, I'm giving you the opportunity now. What do you say to that?
Well, I mean, you cannot, people will always say things, will always, do mud throwing. That person does not even know that I have 3 master's degree. My last master's degree, I actually passed it with distinction in England. In the UK, I got a master's degree in museum studies with distinction. People like that, those are the kinds of people that we're saying. We're gonna be patient with them. And it is that kind of mentality that we're saying. It basically presupposes that because we are actually exercising our right to speak, therefore there's something wrong with us. As if now, we are okay with the status quo. We are not okay with the status quo. And the Constitution gives us the mandate to speak into these issues. And now if somebody then comes and feels that, these young people, they make me uncomfortable, we understand.
Okay, so Wandile, shortly before you guys made your momentous entrance, the speaker, Emeritus Professor Paul Malem, made a statement, and I'll quote it for you. I think the gesture could have been differently, much more creatively and less crudely. It might even have been a work of performance art. The event could have been filmed with the participants maybe throwing tomatoes. And this is in response to your choice of weapon.
Throwing off the pool could be associated with an expression of the kind of filth and disdain with which Rhodes actually treated our forebears. That's how he treated our people. And when he threw that pool, he was basically throwing his punch at an institution. When I say I'm not talking about a building, but I'm talking about institutional racism. So we're saying that we cannot be told how to respond to colonialism, racism, and all of this. We're going to respond in our own way, on our own terms. That's what we're saying to him. I think Tumani did a wonderful job by throwing that poo at that statue.
How did it make you feel to watch the Rhodes Must Fall debate snowball around the world?
Well, I feel great right now as I am, engaging with you on this subject. It really is a good feeling. We have set in motion things that cannot be undone, and people are saying we are with you. Students at, for example, at Goldsmith University in London, they are saying we're occupying certain offices. So this occupation now is becoming more like another sub-campaign of its own. So we're saying to people, people must be able to, to talk about things. They must be able to engage on things so that people, they don't feel that they cannot speak.
A total of 181 members of the UCT Senate voted in favor of the removal of the statue. Surely it must be more than statues. So what transformational issues would you like to see change on campus?
We've put forth, issues such as the curriculum. You can't have, an institution on the African continent that does not prioritize, the African agenda. And point number two, you can't have, an institution on the African continent that has a less representation of black African scholars. You can't have that. So not unless, if you are a serious institution on issues of transformation, you have to put this, you have to prioritize this. And we know for sure that UCT, does not have, sufficient representation of black scholars at that university. And we're saying that it's a matter of urgency, it must be attended to, and we cannot be in a position to back down on that. So some of the issues that we're actually speaking about is how do we then begin to even apply this institutional critique when it comes to names that we give to buildings at UCT, so that the question of transformation, it becomes part of the institutional lifestyle or ethos, because we also need to change the ethos of the institution. So to change the ethos or the culture of the institution, you need to deal with these symbols in a very strategic way. Institutional racism is not just about the removal of the statue. It goes deeper than that. The removal of the statue is the beginning. We're dealing with that one as a symbolic gesture.
Is there anything you would like to add before we part?
Well, I think I have said a lot of things, but what I would like to say is truth must be spoken to power in every corner of the globe so that we can be able to say, in our lifetime, this is the kind of legacy that we would like our children to enjoy. We would like, our grandchildren to enjoy when they enjoy these spaces. People must get used to the idea of not seeing roads there. They must get used to that idea now.
Youth activists throughout history have shaken up the status quo. Wandile and his fellow students are no different. I have a feeling that we'll definitely be hearing more from them. I'm Linda Fekisi, and this is the journalist show Meqoqo, a nation in conversation.